if anyone remembers Shaykh Abar, Rahimahullah, passed away. God bless him. He used to shout. We thought he was shouting takbir. If you listen close, he was going takbir, takbir. Perhaps he was commanding the solar system to move on its orbit. Allah knows what his awliya are doing. Everyone is engaged in their work. Everyone is doing their job. It says, work ye. And Allah says, I'll do my work. Soon the results of what you did will come into view. So everyone has to do their job. Some is by the order of Allah and His Prophet ﷺ, commanding huge forces. Some like me nothing, only to restroom, back to bed again, restroom, back to bed, pausing to eat. Simple life. Other people busy doing what they do. Drivers are driving. Farmers are farming. ITs are ITing. Salesmen are selling. Buyers are buying. Cooks are cooking. Mothers are raising their children. Children are growing. Everyone doing something. Under the order and plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Since the beginning of time, the insan, human beings, I say, asking permission from the Shaykh to talk something over my head, thousands of degrees. Why? You never talked anything except what was over your head. Why is today different that you're asking permission? From the beginning of time, it's in the nature of human beings, insan, nas, men and women, to want to know, to ask to know what's going on. Since ancient history, they were trying to know and understand the world that we live in. We found ancient ruins, various places in this world from different people that went before. Allah says, travel through the earth, and look at what was the end of those who went before you. They had huge monuments. They left. We gave them more power than we gave you. Now look what happened to them. All of them left traces, I thought, traces of their civilization and traces of their search for knowledge, to know something about themselves and about their creator and his creation. All of them had different ideas. If you look at ancient Egyptian ruins, they had their ideas. They painted in paintings on the walls of their monuments. The world to us is like this. This is what happens in this life. This is the order of things. This is what happens in the next life, in the Barzakh. We go back to more ancient, Sumerian or ancient, or in South America, ancient, another story. It's like this, it's like that. In this country, in the West, another ideas. Everybody asking to know something. It's part of our inheritance as human beings. We want to know. Allah gave it to us. Shaykh Muhyiddin, Allah bless him. Jahadan put some pictures in Damascus, put some pictures of Shaykh Muhyiddin's maqam. Ibn al-Arabi. I tried to sent them anywhere. It's the first maqam I visited. We went to go see Sheikh Nazim in Damascus. We didn't know anything. Sheikh Muhyiddin was a maqam, a mosque, and a bus stop, a taxi stop. It's at the base of the mountain. The cars can't go up any higher. It's too narrow. We stopped there. We got out. I had a picture of Lana Sheikh. You know, that went to this guy. Went to visited that maqam first one. He said human beings are constructed according to the form that Allah gave us. I gave Adam his form. I gave Adam from my form, he said. So are. Shaykh Muhyiddin said, what's the form of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? People asked, what forms are we created in? Allah, a huge body with a head and arms and legs. He said, you're given the form of Allah's beautiful asma wa sifat. His beautiful names and attributes are reflected in human beings. After all, whole absolute existence belongs to Allah. Coming into form, Hayyun Alim, alive, coming into this world. Alim, he gave us Hayyun Alim, alive, and we know we're alive. We know we're something alive in this world. If you sit in a chair and say, who am I? What am I? First, something alive. What's alive? This. You can't put any description. What I am is alive. What does it mean to be alive? This. You're crazy, this. You can't see it. I'm alive. Alim, knowing. Hayyun Alim. Read. Wishing to do, wishing to know more. Allah gave irada to human beings. I'm alive, I know I'm alive, and I wish to know and do more. It's basic, you can't escape it. It's our building blocks. Alive, knowing I'm alive, and wishing to know and do, to know more about myself, about the world around me, and about what's beyond that, the creation. Who made this? Who made me? Real Qadr, power. Allah is Al Qadr. He gave human beings the Qadr, power. For what? To do what we wish to do, to carry out the will that he gave us. The will to know and to do everything. I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to move, I want to, everything is from our will. The smallest thing we do is our will. And he gave us the power to carry out our will. And he gave us all these equipments, everything. They say, Sami, Basir, Mutakalim, hearing, seeing, speaking, all, touch, taste, everything to carry out our will. And mostly we're asking to know who we are, where we came from, who created us, who made us, where we're going, what happens to us in this life, what's going to be at the end of this life, because we heard that we pass away also. The word went out among human beings among all creatures. You're going to die. Every creature is afraid of death, even an ant, even a mosquito. They try to swarm, get away. Why do they want to get away? Because they know I'm going to die. Every creature fears death. It runs from it. Human beings also. But it's coming and we can't stop it. I have to know more about it. Ask him to know. Up to the limits of this world. And Allah said, the other were the prophets, first of all. Anbiya, prophets, 124,000, teaching human beings everything we need to know about all these issues, who we are, where we came from, where we're going, who created us, what we have to do, what we are, what we're about, what's going on, to teach us. And the seal of prophets also, coming to teach us. All you who are alive and knowing you're alive and wishing to do, and you have hearing and seeing and speaking and everything else to carry out your will, shall I not tell you the best ways to employ your willpower? Be happy always, here and hereafter. And they taught those ways to people. Still, people want to know more. Prophet taught in levels, common levels, and then more advanced levels. People are asking more, giving more, asking more, giving more, asking more, giving more. Level by level, ascending. So heavens, and level by level, descending to our hidden self. The deputies of Prophet said, Prophet, he taught another kind of knowledge. He taught a knowledge about this life, what to do. He taught another knowledge about a secret life that's part of your human construction. Another area, an ocean or oceans, endless oceans for you to dive in and learn more. That you should find those oceans when you go from this life. Everything in this life comes to an end. There's a famous hadith, born to die, built for ruin. I told the story many times. There was a very rich king and queen. They decided to build the most beautiful palace ever was on earth. It's a metaphor for what we do in this life. Everyone wants to build the best thing they can build, according to their means and ability, the best business, the best family, the best farm, the best nation, the best, whatever their level endeavor is, they want to build something that will be something, a monument for them, something reaching to eternity. And they put their efforts into building. The Prophet said, all people born to die, build for ruin. Don't make this dunya and all its doings to be your main target. You'll be disappointed in the end. You may build the most beautiful buildings, but what's going to be? You're going to leave it. That king and queen, their focus was on this dunya. They gathered the best architects and builders. You know the story. And they, maybe some here they didn't hear it. And they built after years, 7 years maybe, working, best architects, best builders, best artisans, best craftsmen, best everything. They built the most beautiful palace ever seen. It's an example of what people do, even if it means they were very rich and they did. One person now, he's one of the leading gurus of modern thinking. He said, we've conquered disease and famine. What's the other thing? Conquered death. He said, what we're going to do with our time? Go to the mental house. They didn't conquer anything. A mosquito can come and I thought you conquered everything. They built the most beautiful palace. And when it was built, they want to show it. They want everyone to see. They had a gala grand opening ceremony. They want to make a grand opening for people to come. This is what we did. And they invited everyone. The word went out everywhere. Come to the grand opening, look at the beautiful palace of the king and queen. And to make it more interesting, to get more people to come, they offered a prize. They said, one bag of gold for anyone coming. Money was gold and silver in those days. I was listening to a podcast today about the history of the money. It's not there. They made money off of debt. They made money. Like oil, instead of pumping oil, they pumped debt and made money out of it. They offered a bag of gold. Anyone comes to our grand opening and can find any mistake, any flaw, what we built wins this prize, bag of gold. Want us to come and find your mistakes and you're going to pay us? Mashallah. Our egos are built like that. We love the mistakes of others. Who doesn't like to see these mistakes? Who did that? You idiot. Getting it, I'm also an idiot. Look at the other one, idiot. There's no problem. So everyone came, looking everywhere. They brought their equipment to look. Like Sherlock Holmes, magnifying glass. To find any mistake in the beautiful palace. Nothing. They spent all night at the grand opening, all those people looking, nothing. The king and queen were so proud, mashallah, they couldn't find anything. Then, at midnight, often happens in these stories, knock on the door doorman opens, and there's one nice little girl who comes outside with a treatment. One poor person, dervish, comes to the door. Oh, your majesties. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum in those days. I came for my prize. How you came for your prize? You didn't even come in yet. Where I was in the streets, when I heard about this invitation, I already found 2 mistakes before I even started to come here. I found 2 big mistakes, big flaws, fatal flaws in your palace. What's those mistakes? No one here could find anything. They went over every inch. Nothing, everything is perfect. The carpets are perfect, the walls are perfect, the plaster is perfect, the arches are perfect, everything perfect. What you found mistakes? I said, I found 2. First, one day, this building is going to be a ruin. Going to come down. Every place on earth that was ever built, sooner or later, comes down to be nothing. Allah say, travel through the earth and look at the ruins of the ones who went before you. They built huge pyramids and temples and unimaginable how they did it, how they moved those stones to the top of the pyramid. And in South America, made them to fit with complex, how they moved those things, how they pulled them, how they cut them. Yeah, we don't know. I found two mistakes. First one, the building is going to be one day in ruins. And all that effort will be lost. Second one, the ones who built it are going to die. They're not going to take any benefit from it. It's going to be a ruin, and they're going to be dead. Wasted. Therefore, Prophet ﷺ, he was trying to prepare his ummah, which is everyone, all mankind, human beings, men and women, is his ummah, trying to prepare them to use their willpower that Allah gave them to improve in what's going to be good for them after they pass away. Should be good in this life and the next life. Otherwise, no benefit. If you know you're going there, you have to prepare for what's there. If you prepare for what's here, it's not to be here. And they were giving, Prophet was giving teachings on different levels according to the capacity of the ummah. Some people have this much, making me one small. Some people this much. Some people oceans of capacity. So no, Prophet said, run after knowledge, up to China, which means up to the farthest you can go. Shaykh Nazim, one day he said, use your belief power, not your mind power. Mind power is for this thing. Use your belief power. Go more to break through the barrier of this world that surrounds us. Go to another level. But said that I can't understand. No, from your mind, you're never going to understand. Use your belief to go more. Then to go more, to go more. And Allah make us to follow him. He said, you can't imagine the pleasure. Feel when you break through the barriers of one level to another level. They say in paradise, men have 70 warrior or line. It's the pleasure to even that. The ladies, the paradise warriors, or pleasure from that. They say if one puts his or her hand into this world, everything, no more pleasure for anything. It's the scent of the one hand. So the pleasure to break through the barrier of this darkness is more than that 70 times. And more, and go more, and go more, and go more. No end. Shaykh Muhyiddin, Allah bless him, he said about, that's why I asked permission and say something so over my level. Asking for hope. To be happy. The teachings of Awliya. He spoke about Bayezid Bastami. He was breaking through barrier after barrier. He said, 10 years just to cut the first ones, like a belt, he said. And then 50 years more. And then more after that, and more. He wanted to know the real, Shaykh Nazim said, he asked to know what's the real situation of prophets? The fountainhead of all these knowledge. All these things we're looking at all these diagrams, and the fountain of it all was from prophets. Allah gave him that, and from there's gushing, pouring into the creation. Ahmed Abuni was asking in his dua for Fatiha, oh my Lord, let me to be at the barzakh between wujud wa imkan, what could be, what's possible, what comes into existence. Let me to see that fountain gushing as existence comes into existence. Sayyid Abu Khalid al-Rujwani, Allah bless him, one of our grand sheikhs, great grand sheikhs. One day, his sheikh, who was the sheikh? Sayyid Khidr, took him. He said, oh, Abu Khalid, so we have a job for you. We have a job for you, something to do. What I'm going to do? Come with me. He took him because Sayyidina Khidr is associated with the water, the fountain. He took him to the place where the Oxus River. Where's the Oxus? Where's the fountain of the Oxus? OXUS. Central Asia. We took us like Mississippi, like Tigris, like Nile, like Euphrates, like Mississippi, like Danube, like big river. Yangtze, we don't want to leave anybody. Ganges, we left anybody out. Is there a big river in Indonesia? What's the name of that river? The big river in Indonesia. Musi. He took him to the head of the Musi, the big river in that area, and water was gushing out from the rocks. Allah said to Musa, strike on the rock with your staff and gush the water. 12 streams from the river. Like that, water was gushing out. They looked for the source of the Nile. Some of the water was gushing out and becoming that huge Nile. You see this fountain coming out of the rocks, coming to be a huge river. This water is made up of rocks. Billions and trillions and quadrillions and sub-quadrillions. What's beyond quadrillions? Septillions? Long zillions? How many drops? Uncounted drops. Not uncounted. You have to count them. Oh, Abu Khalid. One of your jobs is to be here at the source of this river. Every drop that comes out from that rock, coming to be that huge Oxus River, has an angel, a malak, driving that drop. Everything in creation has a driver. Nothing is without a driver. Nothing by itself is moving. What's driving the sun? What's driving the moon? You look at the astrology, what's driving those things? When they're talking about the planets, the stars, drivers. Each one of those drops of water has a driver, an angel. Those angels need names. Everything has to have a name. Your job to give them names. That's one of your jobs. While you're doing that, so you'll be in your place with people, teaching tariqah to people. Also, one presence is going to be here giving names to those angels forever. What about the other rivers? What about the dust on the moon. But enough dust has to have. Who's giving the names? Who's controlling this? How many things are going on? Endless, ocean, infinity. The Shaykh said, my favorite word in English language, infinity. Infinity. Endless, endless. Lift your eyes up to infinity. Set your hearts on infinity. All people, he used to say. Don't be like a sheep, head down, always grazing. Open your heart. May Allah grant us something. Something. I saw on the internet yesterday, scientists calculated the number of ants in this world. What? Well, they know how many ants there are. All ants, or the red ants, or black ants, or all ants. It's 40, number of zeros, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion, big number. I wrote back to the person who put that. It's not enough to know. We have to know the exact number, and we have to know their names also. What's the names of those ants? Who are they? Then we have to ask, what's their business? What are they doing? Each one, what's he doing? It's only ants. What about spiders and flies and mosquitoes? Didn't reach the animal kingdom yet. I don't know what my cat is doing. What those ants are doing. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammad. I'm talking a lot tonight. Imam al-Ghazali, Abu Hamid al-Ghazali, this Maulana Shaykh's story. Imam Ghazali was doing a khidmat, sitting on the watchtowers of the kingdom where he was, looking to see if any enemy is coming by sea to attack. And while he was sitting there, people would come to debate with him issues of. He was known, he's a famous philosopher and metaphysician, and they would come to debate with him while he's sitting there watching. It's a high rank to watch, be on guard for the Ummah. They said, how you can believe in all these things, numbers of ants, numbers of drops in water, how you're saying everything has to have a driver. How you're saying something. It sounds to us like a nonsense. You lost your mind sitting up here in this watchtower. So maybe you're right. Maybe you're right, we have to check. Bring your proof. You might be right, let's check. He said, look in the distance, there's a ship coming. See that ship? And I said, yes. I said, maybe it has no driver. Maybe by itself it's sailing to the shore. So the ship came. I said, how came? 19 sailors driving with the ship. Use the word 19, the number. So if that ship needed 19 sailors to drive it across the sea, what about this earth? Driving this huge earth through the skies. Who's driving it? Who's driving it? I looked before we started, there's an animation from NASA showing the earth spinning around the sun, the moon spinning around the earth and the planets going and the sun zooming through the Milky Way on its orbit and everything moving in a spiral. We never come back to the same spot. Spiral. Clock dial comes back to the same spot. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Comes back to 12. In reality, if you go through the hours, you're not coming back to the same 12. It's a new 12. Not the same as the last. Not the same as the last. Each time different. Each time different. Those people that came to debate, they said, some ran away, some gave their shahada. I don't know. They ought to make us to understand something. We're talking about something over our level, but we're asking the himmah. May Allah and His Prophet ﷺ, and Mu'min himmah, the one who gave the himmah, light the flame of himmah through our hearts to try to move on unknown areas. The Prophet said, seek knowledge. Seek, light that fire. As we love to eat and drink and sleep and enjoy ourselves, light the fire of knowledge. Seek knowledge. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad al-Fatiha. Ameen. Ameen, ameen, ameen. So much. Sorry,